Hi, welcome back to my channel. I'm going to be going over the books I read for February. The first book I read is Death by Bubble Tea by Jennifer J. Chow, which follows two cousins, Yale and Celeste. Yale's dad runs a restaurant thing, and there's a night market in town. So the dad's like, hey, you and Celeste should take over, or should do the pop-up little thing he wants to do there and serve the custies or whatever. And so Yale and Celeste do that. Yale makes her homemade bubble tea for the custies, and Celeste is like, let's serve it in a light bulb. I don't know. And then someone gets poisoned by a light bulb drink. And so Yale and Celeste must figure out who killed this person so that they can make themselves seem like not killing-y, because it was their bubble tea that killed her. It was like someone poisoned their bubble tea, whatever. Or at least it's looking that way. And so they have to find out who did it and to save their asses. And I thought this was fine. I gave it a 4 stars. I thought it was a fun time. Yeah, the mystery was at the beginning, I had no clue. Then towards the middle, I was like, okay. I locked in on 2 people. I was like, okay, I think it's one of you two, and then I found it. But it wasn't too predictable or anything like that. I thought it was fine. Celeste and Yale were fine characters. I'll probably read the second one eventually. I don't know, maybe not. It wasn't anything mind-blowing, but I had a good time. I thought it was a solid mystery. The next book, I'll just do the next books I read, is in the Zombie Chaser series. Books 1 and 2. Undead Ahead and Sludgement Day, which these were some of my favorite books in middle school. It was the first Zombie Chasers, the second and the third, because that's all that was out when I was in middle school. And then I found out recently, there's 7 of them. So I ordered 7, or all 7 of them, so that I could reread them. Well, these are from middle school, when I was in middle school. And I'm going to reread the whole series, so I just started and I read these 2, so I already read these back in middle school, so I already knew what was going on. But it was a fun time. I love these books. I think they're so fun for kids. It's very gory, though. People will be getting, eaten and shit. And the illustration's so fun. I love these books. They're so fun. It's a little road trip adventure during the zombie apocalypse. And yeah, I'm excited to finish out the series because it was one of my favorites as a kid. Then the next book I read is The Drowned Woods by Emily Lloyd Jones, which I got. My mom got me the Bone Houses for one of my birthdays, and I finally read that in 2022. Absolutely loved it, so I ordered some of her other books, and I finally got around to reading this one. And fantasy isn't usually my thing, so for being a fantasy book, I really enjoyed it. I gave it a 4 stars. It's about this girl, Mer. It's M-E-R. I don't know, her name's weird. And she is basically a water bender. She can control and sense and do water shit. And so people want her for that fact. And she gets taken by a prince to do water stuff or whatever. And then many years later, she's escaped and is living in this little tavern. And then this guy who worked for the prince, I forget what he did. He was a ringmaster? I don't know, something like that. Finds her and is like, hey, let's kill the prince. Are you with me? And then she's like, okay. And they find a bunch of people to help them take down the prince. And I had a fun time with it. I thought it was a solid book. Yeah, I don't know. I would recommend it if you like fantasy. I think it's YA fantasy. I think it's good. The next one I read is Icebreaker by L.A. I don't know how to pronounce that last name. And this follows a boy who is going to college to play hockey. He's only planning on doing 1 semester of college so that he can get drafted to the NHL. He comes from a lineage of hockey players. His dad and granddad both were famous, really good hockey players, and so he's trying to keep up the legacy and all the pressures and shit that comes with that. And he's in the same college with his rival who challenges him for the number 1 draft pick, because that's a big thing. He has to be number 1 draft pick. And then enemies to lovers, blah, blah, blah. And so he starts to fall for his number 1 rival, and blah, blah, blah. Shit gets messy, same shtick. I don't know, I thought it was good. I liked it. It was very hockey. There was a lot of hockey that I did not understand or really care about. But I thought it was good. The characters were fine. It was pretty, I don't know, it was fine. Like, nothing groundbreaking or anything. I gave it 4 stars. I thought it was a good time. It was quick, it was fun, it was fast. The last book I read is Witchcraft for Wayward Girls by Grady Hendrix, which this follows Neva, N-E-V-A, Neva, I assume that's how you say her name, Neva, who has gotten pregnant, and so her parents are sending her to a house or like a maternity home to like have the baby in silence and peace, and so no one will know she's pregnant because it's the 60s, 70s, something like that. So that was like a big thing, like if you get pregnant, you hide the girl away so no one knows. And in this home, it's very restricted and bad and not fun at all. They like make them do like a lot of fucking chores for being very pregnant and very young. And then a librarian stumbles into their life and gives them a guide for groovy witches, something like that. And so the girls start dabbling in that shit, and then shit happens. Yeah, I really like this. I'm not a big fan of witches, so that kind of lessened my enjoyment. I liked all the other stuff that wasn't witchcraft, really. The witches, it wasn't horrible or anything. There wasn't a whole lot of the witches, so them just being there was just kind of deterring from the overall story, in my opinion. But I had a fun time with it. I thought it was good. It's really fucking long. Hi, girl. Yeah, sorry. You can probably hear her purring. And I had a fun time with it. I enjoyed the story. I enjoyed the maternity homes discussion because I think I knew those were a thing, but I never really thought about it. And yeah, I thought it was really good. A lot of discussion on women not having control over their own bodies or autonomy, and how when you are like pregnant, or like especially back then, women are viewed as less than people, less than a person. They're viewed as more of an object. So like when Neva goes to the home, every girl is named after a flower, so she's named a fern. And like it's like even stripping their humanity back more, because they're not even a person, they're not even a name, they're an object now. And yeah, I thought it was solid. I really liked it. I gave it 4 stars. My favorite Grady Hendrix by fucking far. Hated the Final Girls Guide. Final Girl Support Group. I hated that book. The ending pissed me the fuck off. Hated that. That was a struggle. And I read My Best Friend's Exorcism, which was fine. That was like a nothing book. I don't understand why people like it. It was truly nothing. The movie was atrocious. Though it was so fucking wonky. The movie's wonky as fuck. And yeah, that's what I read in February.